Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Monday stream. I hope everyone's having an awesome Monday. Welcome, everybody. Oh, sorry. Give me 1 second. There we go. We have light, folks. Welcome, everybody. Yellow King, Derry Bennett, Quad Bennett, Heat, how's it going? Welcome. Kamikaze and Michael Hasser. Welcome, everybody. I hope everyone had a good weekend. Man, it's been quite a journey these last couple of days. So we're gonna try to take it slow and ease our way back into the normal streaming schedule. A few updates, folks. I did order some sample merch, and unfortunately, it doesn't seem like it's gonna get here today. There's been a lot of storms, so I mean it's possible, but it doesn't seem likely. But well, if it does, I will post some stuff on the Discord. The reason why I've been absent for almost a week now, man, seems like forever. I've been doing some courses for my license that I am required to have for my job. So that's what I've been doing. Nikki Dawn, French drag queens at the Olympics last supper segment. The right was pissed off. Yeah, I saw that. I did see that, and the reason why they were pissed off is because they thought it was some kind of mocking of the Last Supper, but that had nothing to do with the Last Supper. Like how egotistical or narcissistical, whatever, to think that this was about you, when it's obvious that the Olympics are like a Greek thing. What it was depicting is like some kind of Greek god festival or something like that. Nothing to do with Christianity. There are 2 meteor showers tomorrow night. Don't miss out. Gotcha. Yeah, narcissistic. And new streamer, who this? Yeah. Totally new streamer. Biden on Supreme Court reform. Yes, we are going to talk about it. Francis, sorry for the drag queen opening. Nah, they got nothing to apologize for. I don't understand. July is Disability Pride Month. Well, 2 more days. Alright, I think I caught up with everything. Join the Discord, folks. So to kick things off, sorry, I'm gonna need at least a day to get things back into the swing of things. Join the Discord, folks. Consider liking the stream, supporting the channel, all the awesome stuff. Keep liking the stream on YouTube. I see a bunch of you have done so. Consider checking out the merch store. I see a tier 1 sub for 36 months. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I didn't see the show, but I agree they have nothing to apologize for. Yeah, I agree. I saw like the clips of it that have been going, making the rounds. Yeah, I mean, these people are going to find any opportunity to be the victim. So, yeah. No, This isn't about you. This isn't about Christianity. Get over yourselves. Feels like about 3 years ago. Yeah. Yeah, quite literally. Quite literally. I appreciate the support. Alright, folks, we got a few things to run through, so today I'm just gonna take it slow. I think I can make through all. I think I can make it through everything. Hey, Bond. I also came back from a hiatus. My weekend was interesting. I almost punched a man who was cursing at my elderly mom. Took everything to hold back. Jeez. Holy yikes. Look at that. With the perfect timings, a chap rating with a party of 32. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Folks, we are just about to get started. So y'all are coming in at the perfect time, actually. We're just about to get started. If you don't know who I am or you haven't seen this channel before, I am A Difficult Truth. We do the news, we do the politics. We're here Monday through Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Coming back from a couple-day hiatus, but we're back. R. Berlin, Jazz Guitar Jeff, Chris Beats, welcome everybody. Zeoduke, Bounce House, thank you all for joining. Cat Dev, I appreciate it. Thank you. Please consider checking out twitch.tv/thechap. The chap told us. Gotcha. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate the chap for the raid and bringing your wonderful community. Let's get started. You guys actually came in at just the right time. We're about to start, actually. And I think the perfect place to start is making fun of Ben Shapiro, I suppose. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Jazz Guitar Jeff, Milton Catano, thank you. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
This I find fascinating. Again, this is everything they're going to try and do is going to be sort of like third order. They're going to try to imply
Ben, not my hero. No,
something.
Ben shouldn't be anybody's hero.
To try and imply something, right? I mean, because, and that's why I think another reason why Vivek brings up the Obamas. It's like we can't say she's DEI. We can't say she's black, but we can say like, well, Barack Obama was black and Michelle Obama is black. And
these things come in threes.
Oh my god, this platform is filled with commies. Ew, Twitch is even more disgusting than YouTube. Wow, dude. Fascinating. Fascinating.
And these things come in threes. And so you know what that means. Which in and of itself is also a stupid analogy because Barack Obama won twice. And so you don't necessarily, they think that Obama is some type of evil figure. They don't have a critique of him from a policy standpoint. They just don't like the fact that he was a Kenyan Muslim, not born in America. But here is Ben Shapiro.
Yes.
The president came out addressing reporters on Thursday, and he was wearing this tan suit.
President Obama's decision to wear a light tan suit at yesterday's news conference. He was wearing a tan suit.
Light tan suit.
I think it was shocking to a lot of people. Is this an effort to make him look warmer?
no way I think any of us can excuse what the president did yesterday. I mean, and then for him to walk out, I'm not trying to be trivial here, but in a light suit, light tan suit.
Also known as Tangate.
Tan suit, and how the tan suit made him look unpresidential.
Whoever talked him into going into a tan suit, they're so desperate because of these low poll numbers, they're willing to do anything.
It's because they ain't as controversy, right? Yeah, so we're getting tan suit vibes. They would wear a tan suit. I don't know. It's just to illustrate like the nonsense that's going on here. I'm not sure Vildby is correct English either, to be fair.
Shortly after Harris comes on, making what I'll tell you, I don't know if folks remember this from 2008. The big criticism of Barack Obama is that he's like a celebrity. This was before they nominated literally a celebrity.
Mm-hmm.
Not a politician.
Yeah. There's one with Nixon in tan too. Ace Frame, welcome. I don't want to play this down, but at least it wasn't beige. No, that's that is downplaying, okay, the scandal of a lifetime. Okay. A tan suit, I can't think of anything worse in the world.
Politician who became a celebrity who became a politician. But back then they were like, he's just a celebrity. They're going back to play this hit again, and it's going to be just as smack themselves in the face. Here's Ben Shapiro.
Exactly do her qualifications look like other than, again, the sort of intersectional magic of Kamala Harris and the fact that Democrats have to manufacture enthusiasm.
What does that even mean? A suit the shade of a 90s computer hearing aid? Nah, stop giving Jordan Peterson ideas, okay?
I've never seen this much manufactured enthusiasm for anyone outside of maybe Taylor Swift's last album. It's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, me neither. It's so obvious. You cringe when you see it. But
exactly to her qualifications.
Okay. And yet here we are covering it. It says Fox News. Okay.
I mean, look at that picture that they use of it. It's the picture of laughing. That's like one of their go-tos. She laughs a lot.
How suspicious.
Laughing Kamala. I mean, the crowd's very enthused, but not as enthused as the RNC. I'll play Lode Runner on your suit. Ashby Harkin, welcome. Losers grousing. She's a woman and a POC, so no laughing aloud. True. Showing human emotions. Oh no, the horror. Can you imagine?
She could be laughing at you and talking down to you. How do you know? How do you know?
And then Shapiro goes with his version of DEI, which is, if I say it really quickly, people won't hear that I said intersectionality, as opposed to, let's say, white guy who's got a Southern accent and can appeal to, maybe white working class voters, that DEI hire for her ticket. But then, they're trying to pretend all the Democrats are pretending that they're happy. Well, I would say, well done, because I'm fooled by them.
They went the full way. They donate to fool the right wing into showing enthusiasm. Mm-hmm. They broke small dollar donation records 2 days in a row just to feign enthusiasm to the right. That's what happens when you're over the target.
True.
That's what happens when you're over the target. And now, if the Democrats are able to feign this enthusiasm enough to vote for her in this way, it's going to be a little bit less cringy. But the amazing thing is, Taylor Swift, nobody knows less about what's going on in our culture than me. I will put that. I will go against that. Maybe folks who don't.
Yeah. Okay, Sam. You just need to say that you're a boomer. BPCL, welcome. I'm pretty happy.
Maybe English is like their third language. Might know a little bit less, but probably not, because they probably read about it in their first language. I'm not proud about this fact. It is like it dogs me at different points. But I know that Taylor Swift is famous. Like the idea that it's somehow her fame or excitement around Taylor Swift is manufactured. Didn't she sell like
it's manufactured by her to get more fans to come to her shows, like manufactured by her having a very robust marketing team. I don't even.
Well, I guess the thing that I'm confused by with it is like I don't know what the value of saying like of comparing Kamala Harris to like whatever your feelings about Taylor Swift are, like de facto the most popular musician arguably on the entire planet.
Well, because she's been, I mean, God knows why, but she's been the target of misogyny this year because she's being shown at our football games.
Oh yes,
I mean,
right,
what? Oh, I could see a random guy with a face paint in the stands with his shirt off, and yet they're cutting to the celebrity on the sidelines.
And also the whole thing that at the Super Bowl, Travis Kelce was going to propose to Taylor Swift, and then
Everything conservatives manufactured. That's why they're confused. That's a good point. Is Taylor Swift like a football player? Yes. Okay, boomer, says a Gen Xer.
Was immediately
endorsed Biden.
Endorse Biden.
Ah!
Biden.
Yeah,
that was
she
their
was just going to go, oh my God, look at the ring. Go vote for Biden. They're insane.
How about everyone just stops watching football? Problem solved. I'm doing my part, okay?
When he said intersectional magic, you know what that's a dog whistle for? Like some women, like black women, have been posting black girl magic about that's a phrase, right? Black girl magic. So he can't say that, right? He can't say DEI. He can't say mock black girl magic. He's got to say, intersectional magic. And Ben Shapiro's not good at incorporating culture into his right-wing commentary. There were other people like Breitbart who did it, who like understood it. He's not good at it. He did that whole burning the Barbie thing over the summer to say that Barbie was a terrible movie. Hey, I got news.
Maybe it's almost like maybe he's just not that intelligent. Nothing really to offer there in terms of political commentary. I remember from the Super Bowl that allegedly Taylor Swift was super pro Biden, so I actually watched this year so I would know if she beat the 49ers. Let's not downplay this either. Sports ball needs to be abolished ASAP.
He also predicted it was going to go bust at the box office, like in the first week. Apparently, it was not a bust at the box office.
And that's the thing that will be funny about, and I'm going to say a very lib thing here, right? Okay, I'm just preparing people for this. This is like, they could Barbie this election in the sense that driving female turnout, focusing on families, care, child care, doing all of that, breaking previous models about who's considered electable, or in the terms of Barbie, like what's profitable, right? Now all the studios realize, oh my God, we can make movies that have a big budget that are directed towards women. There you go. That's what the Barbie effect was.
Pickleball
now,
first.
Like with Harris, doesn't have the baggage of Hillary Clinton, right? But she's a woman that's, I think, making women excited to vote for her. And that, I think, scares them a little bit. Because Fox didn't have their prepackaged multi-decade propaganda campaign.
Right, and like what exactly, like in terms of like what exactly do they have that is effective against Kamala Harris, right? Like what exactly from a conservative perspective do they have that's actually pretty effective against Kamala Harris? They really don't have much, if anything. I think his lens is murky from having low empathy, narcissistic personality. Oh, Shapiro. Foosball, Bobby. They say she's to blame for all of Biden's decisions while he's been incapacitated. I mean, hey, twist yourself into the amount of pretzels y'all need to do. But geez. Replacement theory is what they have. Yeah, well, besides racism and misogyny, they don't really bring much other than and much else to the table, right? Kamala is the one that's actually doing stuff behind the scenes. She's the one making decisions while Biden is not acting as president. Whatever. Okay. I must admit, I checked that my voter registration was in order after they announced that he was stepping down. Yeah, I think a lot of people are rethinking that. There's already an ad to that effect. Gotcha.
Campaign for Harris put in place.
And the only thing that they're responding with is, in some ways, like doubling down on their male, sort of aggrieved, divorced, middle-aged guy energy. Who you want to try and win an election with people who are aggrieved by the existence of Taylor Swift?
Yeah, it's not okay. The red pillars is what he's talking about. That's not going to go far either, right? Because what are they going to do? Launch misogynistic attacks against Harris? Okay. It's the Republican Party. It'll just make them look more gross than they already are.
It's not gonna work. But they don't have anything yet. I mean, they'll maybe come up with something, but we'll
shake
see
it
about
off.
that.
But Puck News, to your point, Sam, reported this morning that the Trump campaign is already trying to run up the score with men, young men in particular, because they're giving up on the suburban women path, which is hilarious to me because that is a bad strategy. That's how Trump won in 2016 with some of those suburban women, and they're just giving up and going full Hulk Hogan now.
I mean, I think their calculation is that Biden took or blunted some of that enthusiasm before, and that when Biden leaves, that's going to be the cohort of people that might be available to them.
Pirate Ninja, welcome.
I think that is I think that is strategically. Well, I don't know what their other option is, to be honest with you, but I don't think that's going to work.
With the J.D. Vance pick, they've boxed themselves in.
Hey, so we all remember the Supreme Court's ruling on Trump's presidential immunity case. Well, get this. The leader of the Heritage Foundation think tank has said the second American Revolution will be bloodless if the left allows it to be. All sparked by the Supreme Court ruling on presidential immunity. Well, Ground News found nearly 50 sources reporting on it with zero coverage coming from the right. Why? Well, going through these articles, you can see most of them tie this project to Trump. Like this report from the DCCC writing Trump's so-called Project 2025 manifesto advocates for a nationwide...
Wait, sir, is this an ad? Samuel? Okay. Ground News is pretty good, by the way. Yeah, a lot has happened since March. Sheesh, a lot has happened in the last month, in the last week, in the last 2 weeks, I should say. Oh, man. Let's talk about a topic that is, let's talk about a topic that's pretty, that's pretty, near and dear to me. And that is music. For those of you that don't know, I am a musician. I enjoy music. I enjoy playing music. And this is something that's pretty near and dear to me.
Hi, how y'all doing? Probably not used to seeing me on this channel. The founder and CEO of Spotify, the biggest music streaming service in the world, seems to think that making music is free. In May, Daniel Ek tweeted, "Today, with the cost of creating content being close to zero, people can share an incredible amount of content." If anyone else said that, we'd shrug our shoulders and dismiss him as just another out-of-touch billionaire. But this man controls the livelihoods of every artist in the world. I know because I'm an indie musician myself. And in light of Spotify's recent earnings report,
you're looking at shares jumping after swinging to a profit in the first quarter.
And price hikes.
Spotify is increasing the prices for many of its monthly subscription plans.
X comments reveal something essential about Spotify's business.
Yeah, you think any of that is going to into the artist? No. Making music, by the way, is not free, okay? Any more than drawing or making a painting or putting together anything art related is free. That's not how this works. Just having the equipment. If you're doing the stuff yourself, just having the equipment is incredibly expensive.
Business model. A predatory relationship between the streaming giant and the artists they claim to serve. He's created a company that lures artists in with gimmicks, engages in wage theft because he believes music is free to create, and cuts deals with the labels to avoid getting shut down. It all resembles a pyramid scheme that benefits only a tiny fraction of the artists, making Spotify billions. Today,
right. Coding a music streaming service is practically free with AI code generation now. Got that right.
We're diving deep into how Spotify is changing the music industry forever and how 99% of artists have been left behind in the process.
Yep. Very similar to the type of waves Netflix did when it first came out onto the scene. Everyone sold their soul before they knew it to subscriptions. Yep. Trump to fix the vote. Yeah, we'll definitely we'll definitely talk about it.
Let's rewind a little bit and establish why Spotify is even in a position to control most of the modern streaming industry. Since its official launch in 2008, 2 years after the company was founded in Stockholm, Sweden, Spotify has opened up a world of artist compensation that has birthed and supported countless careers in the traditional music, podcasting, and audiobook segments of the entertainment industry. It's the biggest platform for a reason. The company's innovative recommendation system and marketing initiatives, such as Spotify Wrapped, made them the go-to platform for several generations of fans. One similarity between a pyramid scheme and Spotify is immediately apparent to anyone who's been involved in either of them. The majority of participants aren't paid well. When it comes to determining if Spotify is paying artists fairly, we could start by throwing out the stats typically cited about Spotify's user base.
If they're going to say that music creation is now a valueless commodity, how are they going to claim that their music player app is irreplaceable or uniquely value adding in the first place? Right. If their own content doesn't have value, then what are we getting? Cognizant with a tier 1 sub for 29 months. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Here's some money. Well, thank you. I appreciate your support.
That they have over 10 million artists, for example. Except that's not the real number of active artists with a viable fan base. Spotify's FAQ site, Loud and Clear, was established as the PR resource for the company to defend itself against, well, videos like this one. It represents their absolute best shot at making themselves look good for investors, the press, and Spotify artists like me. Loud and Clear clarified in March of last year that there's actually about 225,000 emerging artists. In other words, artists who've released at least 10 songs and have 10,000 monthly listeners. You know, those artists Spotify focuses on because they're most dependent on streaming as part of their livelihood. But when you actually break down the profits behind these artists, you'll realize that they're not actually capable of making a living.
Yeah, like it's literal, just like a literal pittance. Tina rating with a party of 23. Thank you so much. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Thank you, Sync to the Beat. Thank you for the follow, Haley. Welcome, folks. If you have not seen this channel before, we are A Difficult Truth. I do the news. I do the politics. We're here Monday through Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Thank you so much. We're just getting started here. Watching a video about how capitalism ruins music. Folks, if you haven't done so, please consider giving Tina a follow. And please consider checking her out on Twitter. Or X. Twitter.com. Thank you. I appreciate it, and I hope you had a good stream.
Last year, of those 225K emerging artists, only 66,000 of them made $10,000 on the platform. Spotify claims we can likely assume.
Thank you for the follow, Chap Hemp. I appreciate it. Folks, if you also want to keep supporting the channel, there are many different ways. Consider subscribing to the YouTube channel. The porn site? No. Oh, man. Elon's never going to let... Elon's never going to... we're never going to let that one go. He may be a difficult truth, but he's pretty easygoing. A lot of people say that. Erica, welcome.
Assume those artists made 4 times that revenue from other streaming sources outside Spotify, like Apple Music. But even if we took their word for it, that's still just 66,000 of the 225,000 total emerging artists taking home 40K total, maybe 50K if we push it to include ticket sales and merch. Wait, let's dig a little deeper into where those payouts go. The overwhelming majority of artists don't write and produce their own music, even if they do own their publishing. Best case scenario for those artists is a fraction of that total payout. Let's say 25% to be very generous. Wait, one more time. We gotta consider this. A lot of artists ain't solo acts. You gotta split that money with that bass player and lead guitarist that never pays you back for that new amp. Hold up.
Yeah, well, technically it is true that we don't pay artists directly. So what we do is we pay all the rights holders. So we pay the record labels. Yeah, yes. Record labels, but also the music publishers.
A lot of artists also don't own their publishing, and they have to pay managers, agents, distributors, and whoever else. Yeah, those 66,000 artists they're so proud of in this chart, our estimates are so messed up at this point that I can't pull a real figure. But at best, that total annual revenue per artist number is dangerously low. The other artists on this chart pulling in $100,000 a year or $1 million a year, the former are almost definitely making closer to minimum wage, and the latter are doing pretty good, as long as they didn't sign the same deal TLC did. That's 0.5% of us, the music superstars. So after all these assumptions and estimates, what do we know for sure? We've established that at best, less than 30%.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's literally a pyramid scheme. You're not even getting money. Your label is getting money. And the only reason that's happening is because Spotify has made a deal with the labels.
% of the artists Spotify considers commercially viable are earning $40,000 to $50,000 a year all in, easily less than minimum wage on an individual basis. The top earners don't even make up a full %, so the other 70% of those artists are making poverty wages. Spotify's official 2020 Wrapped dropped a stat that unintentionally revealed how dire the situation is in the modern era. 60,000 artists hit the 100,000 monthly listener mark that year, which sounds great until you do the math and realize how little revenue is driven by these large listener counts. The entire city of Wichita Falls, Texas, could be listening to you once a month. And even the most profitable artists, those who own all their music, would only be earning the median income in Wichita Falls. So that's how little most of the emerging artists make. But what about the millions of other small musicians on the platform? As of January 1st, 2024, Spotify isn't...
Jesus Christ. That's wild. All that, 100,000 viewers per month, and you basically make like minimum wage or less than minimum wage. Like, just to be clear, like, the amount of dedication, time, energy, money it takes to make 100,000 views or listens in this case is just absurd. To only make 29,000 a year.
Paying artists who aren't able to get songs past the 1,000 streams mark. That money goes into the payout pool instead and gets distributed among those who can. As someone who spent years making music before finally pushing past that mark, this is straight up robbery. It may be one of the most devastating things to happen in the industry in years, and not because of the relatively low financial hit to individual artists. My payouts were never very large, but they kept me going. I paid my phone bill some months with it. Other months, it was enough to pay even bigger bills. Those little amounts remind you that there's value in your hustle, that all the hard work isn't for nothing. This theory that only commercially viable artists are worth considering is ridiculous. Give me my money. How many of y'all bump artists with very few fans and still like some of their songs? Exactly. I get excited when I discover someone who hasn't broken through yet. We deserve to get paid. This scheme exists for one reason: to drive more revenue towards major labels while they withhold payment for 2/3 of the tracks on their platform. Reverse Robin Hood, or as I like to call it, wage theft. But that's only the tip of the iceberg of Spotify's...
It is. It is straight up theft. That plant is attacking him, but this is ridiculous. That's why the term human resource exists. Yep.
schemes to take advantage of struggling artists looking to break out. Spotify also opened up a pre-existing program targeting developing artists called Discovery Mode in 2023. In a nutshell, it allows artists to take some of the streaming revenue they gain from songs they opt into the program and reinvest it into Spotify marketing. Whatever you earn from that traffic, you'd give Spotify 30% off the top. Their argument is that they're helping you gain profit you wouldn't have had otherwise, which is technically true. But a more accurate way to say that is Spotify is shuffling your songs around like cards in a deck, promising you the new arrangement will lead to more wins in the future, and taking some of your jackpot if you happen to have a good hand. It costs them nothing. And the simple fact that you can't see what they're doing on the back end leads me to believe they'll be taking credit for algorithmic successes that you would have had anyway.
Right. Jeez. That's like the writers of our favorite shows making peanuts and having no job security. It's like nearly 99% of workers working for the 1%. Correct. That's exactly what's happening here.
We know music will never rewind to a time where consumers buy records or CDs by the millions. But the least we can do is highlight the damage companies like Spotify.
So that's why a lot of new IPS sucks. It's like how YouTube loves to feed you unmonetized videos and keep them just under the threshold to pay less royalties. Exactly.
Have done to the livelihood of those who make the art we love. It's literally like two things more popular than music on earth. So why doesn't it feel that way for most of the people who create it? Food for thought. Y'all got the information now. Can't say I ain't tell you. Literally can't read that because this fly was interrupting the shot. This fly was like, I'm trying to be on camera too, dog.
So that's transparent. The actions, the more shady they are. True. Or perhaps they really are helping out the new creators on YouTube. I mean, like, it could be both, right? It can be both that they want to be shady while also being able to save face by going, look, we're helping the smaller creators.
In 4 years, you don't have to vote again. We'll have it fixed so good you're not going to have to vote.
Well, I think that was a classic Trumpism.
I think he's obviously making a joke.
He's trying to tell the Christian.
Yeah, like, you know, I saw like another, I think it was like an ex-Obama aide or something like that. I was trying to say like, oh, he's just saying that like, he's just saying that he's not going to be able to run anymore, so it doesn't matter. And you won't have to vote anymore because he'll be gone. Which, like, I don't know, that kind of doesn't make any sense. But even if that were the case, like, how many times, you know, this is not like a one-off comment. Does that make sense? This isn't like a one-off comment. At some point, like, this isn't like, I can't take it as a joke. Like, what is the joke here? They kept saying that in his defense. Right, like, oh, you know, he was just joking about the wanting to be... he was just joking about wanting to be a dictator for day one. I mean, come on. He just wants to be a dictator for one day, right? Like, he's just joking. He was just joking when he kept riling up the crowd saying "fight like hell," and they did. That's right. It's just a different way of saying make us more money.
Christian community and anybody else who's listening, the nightmare that we're experiencing will soon be over.
Friends, just how completely unequipped American media is to deal with fascism, this is the one. On Friday, Donald Trump clearly stated that if you vote for me, you won't have to vote anymore. It'll be fixed. Don't worry about it later. In 4 years, it'll be fixed. It'll be fine. I'm going to play that clip, and I'm going to get to 3 examples from American media on Sunday where Republicans were asked about this, and then the media completely dropped the ball. No follow-ups, allowing these politicians to spew their garbage answer, which, by the way, all different answers. It's funny how they don't even have a proper, a singular story to excuse what Trump said. All different answers, no real response.
I gotta say, I still love this new, well, not new, but I still love the non-green screen background Davis got going on here. How did the max 8-year term start? Yeah, he's got it covered. I don't know what video they have on Lindsey in the Hidden in the Vault, but that poor guy. I wonder if he's seen the cracks in his ideology. Maybe. I was chatting regarding the previous comment. I was chatting with my dad about this, and he said it was out of context. So I went and watched the whole speech. After asking for new context, he said that would help Trump. All he had to say was Trump rambles a lot. Yeah, like that's not better.
As to what actually happened, and then they move on. So first I'm going to show the clip from, again, this is from Friday, Trump giving a speech in Florida.
And again, Christians, get out and vote just this time. You won't have to do it anymore.
Like, what did he mean by that? Like, what context could this be excusable? Like, you don't have to do it anymore. Because like even if we took the logic from the Obama person that he was saying, that he was referencing that he can't run again, what do you mean you don't have to vote anymore? Like if Trump doesn't run, you know that there's going to be other Republicans to take his place, right? Like there's I don't understand. I had the clip on standby, but David's got it here. This straight up is no misunderstanding. Yeah, like what context could we possibly look at this and say like, oh yeah, this was this was taken way overblown. Like what context can we actually apply here where this is okay? Because like that's how you kind of reverse engineer this. And the answer, if you think about it, is there's not really like any good context that would make this look, because like why would somebody not need to vote anymore? Then we will be a true Christian nation under Trump, right? But he's not a Christian, right? Yes, that's true.
4 more years, you know what? It'll be fixed. It'll be fine. You won't have to vote anymore, my beautiful Christians.
Right. So, like, even if you were trying to say, like, oh, well, he just means that, in 4 years, if he gets elected, he'll fix everything to the point where everything is perfect. And you won't have to do anything anymore. That doesn't make any sense. Because what if a radical socialist Democrat gets in power and destroys America again? You know? No, he's a predator, liar, crook, sociopath, and they love him for it. That's true.
I love you, Christians.
The only thing that makes sense here is that he's being quite literal. Like, you're not gonna have to vote anymore because I don't intend on leaving. We won't have to deal with this whole pesky democracy thing where we have an election every 4 years or whatever. You're not gonna have to deal with that anymore. What happens to non-believers? I don't want to know the answer to that question.
My Christian, I love you. Get out. You got to get out and vote. In 4 years, you don't have to vote again. We'll have it fixed so good you're not going to have to vote.
All right. Now, before I get to the meat of this, I want to point out another thing that stood out to me, because it sounds like he says there, I'm not Christian, which would be an odd thing to say to a bunch of Christians when you're telling them to vote. So I read a quote, I believe The Guardian quoted him as saying, I'm a Christian. But it really sounds like he says, I'm not Christian.
Yeah, it kind of does. But, I mean, that's the least of it, right? Like, if it came out, whatever, like, that's the least of the issue here. And when leaves, he will anoint someone and point to Biden and Kamala for president. Right. Narcissistic megalomaniac. Like a king. Right.
Regardless.
We still have to vote for Harris, though.
Let's say he did say, I'm a Christian. It's an odd thing to have to reaffirm to people in the middle of your speech like this. He must be a little self-conscious about the fact that he clearly doesn't actually feel like a Christian if he is one. I mean, go back to his favorite quote about the Bible or from the Bible. I like all of it. It's just like, it's my second favorite book after mine. He clearly, regardless, I don't care how religious, non-religious he is. The point is he's just a big phony. But on the point about voting, it'll be fixed. You won't have to worry about voting. It'll be fixed in 4 years. Just make sure you vote now. Imagine Kamala Harris said this. Imagine any Democrat.
Yeah, like this would be wall-to-wall coverage for the next 3 months. If a Democrat said anything remotely close to that, this would be wall-to-wall coverage on Fox, the Daily Wire, Breitbart. I mean, it would be wall-to-wall coverage for the next 3 months. Megalomania is a real condition. Other people don't really exist to Donald. After his favorite book after Mein Kampf.
Said this. Doesn't matter what position they're in. There would be a firestorm. Media would be going crazy. Every single Democrat interviewed on every single network would be the first question they'd be asked about is, do you denounce this authoritarian in your party? Do you agree with their perspective that this will be the last time you'll have to vote? Are you an authoritarian? Like, they would be pressed and pressed and pressed over this comment. But it's Donald Trump. Oh, one question to a few of these.
Yeah, I think it's because it's been so normalized that this is just the way this guy is. So nobody really blinks an eye when he says these incredibly worrisome comments. Like how he wants to be dictator for one day. How he said in the past, Article 2 says I can do whatever I want. Made and won the case for presidential immunity and believes that the president has broad immunity. The signs are there. The signs have been there since the beginning. And this has been so normalized that this kind of just doesn't go. It just doesn't even. It barely go. It makes It makes a very few splashes. Actually, if Trump wins, he implements Project 2025. He'll fire the deep state and appoint so many yes men that the government will collapse and he'll have to declare martial law and cinch up the dictatorship. Yeah, I mean, that's a more extreme outcome of what could happen. But really, I think if Project 2025 is implemented, it will be something to the effect of the executive being a lot more powerful and branch and bureaucracy consolidation. And as you said, the ones that the bureaucracy that does remain will be filled with yes men. Trump is given a pass on the bad stuff and is completely normalized. I think that's typical in a landscape of fear where a psychopath is in power and why they want him back is crazy. The fact they wanted him originally is pretty baffling, except when you think about the desire for power being paramount. Yeah. I mean, a lot of us saw this coming. A lot of us saw this coming.
Members of the GOP, and then they move on. again, I'll get to that. It is just so incredible to see how low the bar is, where this is barely news. Yeah, there's some coverage of this, but it's Monday now. No one's talking about it anymore. Like this is a big effing deal, and apparently it's just whatever. It's Donald Trump, the dictator. What's the big deal? It's so weird to see how media and just people generally just get used to things, where we become accustomed to the fact that this guy is an authoritarian, and it's no longer a topic of conversation. It's insane. So it's important not to get comfortable with that fact, by the way.
Hi, I'm Nicole Hockley from Sandy Hook Promise. I know this is hard to hear, but
Kamala Harris released a...
The thing about giving him all the power that somehow he'll share it with you. Do you know who Trump is? I don't know if there's like any rationality you can derive, you can distill from that, because it's not, none of this is rational, right? This is like a death cult. This is death cult behavior. The government will not function except as an organization that uses threat and bullying tactics, all the authoritarians climbing over each other for free money and status. There's only one Lord of the Rings, and he does not share power.
A statement from her campaign.
That's true.
Saying here, when Vice President Harris says this election is about freedom, she means it. Our democracy is under assault by criminal Donald Trump. After the last election Trump lost, he sent a mob to overturn the results. This campaign, he has promised violence if he loses, the end of our elections if he wins, and the termination of the Constitution to empower him to be a dictator to enact his dangerous Project 2025 agenda on America. Donald Trump wants to take America backward to a politics of hate, chaos, and fear. This November, America will unite around Vice President Kamala Harris to stop him. Now, the Trump campaign reacted to questions about this, saying, as ABC News writes here, the Trump campaign released a statement clarifying what the former president might have meant with his message to Christian voters. His campaign suggested he was talking about the importance of faith, uniting the country, and bringing prosperity.
What does that have to do with
President
anything?
Trump is talking about the importance of faith, uniting the country, and bringing prosperity to every American, as
He didn't
opposed to
talk
the
about any
divisive
of that.
political environment that has sowed so much division and even resulted in an assassination attempt.
Wait, the people who are doing this are him. The people that are sowing this division, that are sowing this violent rhetoric, are the conservatives. It's a cult, so people feel powerless, feel a false sense of control when they align with Trump. Also, as authoritarians themselves, they understand and trust Trump. People are not all shocked by someone taking a shot at him. It just seems normal. Jumps onto an eagle's back, flies away into the sunset.
By a Republican.
Holding an American flag.
Not mentioned here. Trump campaign spokesperson Stephen Chung wrote in a statement. What does this have to do at all with the part about you won't have to vote anymore? So this is clearly not a defense of what was said, because they're just completely ignoring that portion. Let me get to some reactions, all right? So first, let's get to Chris Sununu, who was interviewed and asked about this, and watch how terribly the host here deals with this, or doesn't at all, and just moves on.
President Trump facing some backlash for those comments Friday night, saying his supporters won't have to vote again in 4 years. I'm joined now by the Republican governor of New Hampshire, Chris Sununu. Governor, what the heck did he mean there?
Oh, man. Absolute clown this guy is. Yep, deflect, deny, delay. Actually, I had another thought. Trump gets into power and ushers in the rapture, so all Christians will be in heaven and unable to vote. There you go. Ah. Now we're thinking outside the box. Okay. I suppose in that context it makes sense.
Well, I think that was a classic Trumpism, if you will. I think.
What is a classic Trumpism? Threatening a dictatorship? I don't understand. Is the classic Trumpism continuing to like threaten authoritarianism? Trump stops World War III but brings the rapture. Some people are equating Trump with the Antichrist based on a line about miraculously healing from a head wound. Oh, man.
I think he's just trying to make the point that this stuff can be fixed. Obviously, we want everybody to vote in all elections, but I think he was just trying to make a hyperbolic point that it can be fixed as long as he gets back into office and all that. But, classic Trump right there.
Okay.
Wait. That's not answering the question, dude. Classic Trump right there. What do you mean by that? What is a classic Trump? I don't get it. And what does that have to do with his statement, and you won't have to vote anymore? This makes no sense.
Okay, and just days, let's turn to President Biden and Kamala Harris, just days before President Biden.
This is insane. You have to sit with this and realize how crazy it is that this is the media reaction to this. Look, as a Canadian, I can't even imagine if there was a potential prime minister who was interviewed giving a speech and talked about, make sure you vote this time. You'll never have to vote. If you vote this time, it'll be fixed. You won't have to vote anymore. I can't even imagine it. It would be madness. It would be nonstop coverage for weeks, months, until he has to force to step down and be replaced by somebody else. Yet here, this is the reaction. One question, then she moves on immediately to a different topic. Are you insane? The candidate for president just said it'll be fixed. Why isn't this a bigger story? And to laugh it off like that, like he's saying, oh, he's just, Donald Trump was just a classic Trumpism. He was just saying, it could be fixed. And he's the one that wants to do that. It is so insane. Please do not let this be normalized. It is not normal to have an authoritarian be this open and it get no coverage or coverage like this in the press. It's completely insane. Here is Lindsey Graham on Face the Nation.
Senator, just a minute here, quickly.
They're platforming people in power to say their power lies. If you think about it, Gaza is being subjected to a visit from the four horsemen right now. It's the rise of fascism in Canada. It's not psychologically normal. No, none of this should be normal. Like, this isn't cool. This is not okay. This is not okay by any stretch of the imagination when you have a presidential candidate going around saying things like this. This isn't even this is not even the first time that he's said something like this. Love they're acting like they don't know. Yep. The only one who would dare is a megalomaniacal narcissist who really has no clue what reality is.
Yeah. Democrats say the former president is trying to take the reins of the entire democratic system here with these comments. You're laughing. What do you believe he's trying to say? What's the truth?
He's trying to tell the Christian community and anybody else who's listening, the nightmare that we're experiencing will soon be over. Give me 4 more years and I'm going to right this ship called America and pass it on to the next generation.
But you won't, he said you won't have to vote anymore. That's the problem. It's one thing, like if he just wanted to say that, he could just say that, right? The only one who dares a megalomaniacal narcissist who really has no clue what reality is. And the media normalizes it and the parties normalize it.
We will have democracy, God willing, for a very long time in this country. But what President Trump is trying to tell people, I did it once, I can do it again. These problems
why not,
can be solved, but you
why not just say that? You get what I'm saying? Why not say that? Try again, Lindsey.
A different direction.
Senator Graham, we always appreciate your time. Many thanks, and we'll be right back.
We, the people of the United States.
We've moved so far away from the Constitution that in many ways we don't even recognize it.
This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. Not only did they move on, he actually was trying to cut Lindsey Graham off from having to answer for this so that they could go to commercial. What the fuck is going on? This is absolutely insane. I have one more clip here. This is going to be Jake Tapper on CNN talking with Tom Cotton.
How did you interpret that remark? I think he's obviously making a joke about how bad things have been under Joe Biden and how good they'll be if we send President Trump back to the White House so we can turn the country around again. That's what the American people know. For 4 years, things were good with President Trump. We had stable prices, a growing economy, peace and stability around the world. Under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, everything has gone to hell. And it will be much worse under Kamala Harris. Just look at her record. She wants to ban private health insurance. She wants to ban fossil fuel production.
Well, banning private health insurance? Well, say no more. Ban fossil fuel production? Say no more.
She wants to ban guns. She even wants to ban plastic
Not all
straws.
guns, some kinds of guns.
She wants to forcibly confiscate guns without even...
Ban plastic. Sounds good to me. Seems like he's talking to a fringe group of people in our society. A liar and a sadistic ghoul. Yeah, I mean, it's Tom Cotton.
Even an act of Congress to do so. Kamala Harris is a dangerous liberal. She makes Joe Biden look competent and moderate by contrast.
I want to ask you about something that Senator Vance said.
Well, don't threaten me with a good time. I say we call this guy Q-Tip or Cotton Swab from now on. I like Q-Tip. He wants people shot in the world to burn.
Not only did Tom Cotton not answer the question, he was allowed to spew a bunch of bullshit in the process. And at no point did Jake Tapper come in and say, this has nothing at all to do with the question. Can you answer why Donald Trump is clearly an authoritarian? Can you answer why he is saying it's going to be fixed? You won't have to vote anymore. Why is he telling Republican voters that? Again, and then moves on. It is, look, this is maybe one of the worst examples of American media that I've ever seen. And I'll give credit where it's due. Jake Tapper isn't always this shitty. Martha Raddatz isn't always this shitty. These people aren't always this shitty. But this is absolutely, has to be the perfect example of how terrible American media is when they are faced with fascism. They have no idea how to deal with this. They have no idea how to actually just ask basic questions, how to press politicians about it. Thank God, Joe Biden dropped out and Kamala Harris is going to be the nominee, because otherwise you have this shitty ass media marching people into fascism.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, liberals aren't really well equipped to properly handle fascism. Justin Freakin, welcome. 4 years of stability under Trump, except for the pandemic that Trump's management almost got the U.S. quarantined from the rest of the planet. Also, Tapper's is a yes man.
Hopefully, Kamala Harris is able to generate energy and enthusiasm, and it appears she already is, but enough to defeat this garbage in November.
That remains to be seen, but Kamala Harris has a path. Kamala Harris has a path to victory. Whereas Biden was not. Biden was almost certainly going to lose. I want to stick a big beta piece of paper on his back That's because it's really psychopathy on a social scale, and they can't deal with that. Most people just hide from psychopathy. Only 2% of humans stand up to it. Trump is a man baby. That's an insult to babies. Won't someone think of the children, not Republicans? The EPA moves to regulate vinyl chloride. The EPA on Wednesday proposed designating one of the toxic substances spilled by the train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio, as a high priority chemical under the Toxic Substance Control Act, the next step to a full ban. Vinyl chloride, a hazardous substance used in the production of plastics, is one of 5 chemicals for which the EPA announced it will explore a designation. The other 4 substances include acetaldehyde, acrylonitrile, benzonamine, and methylene, They were selected from a long list of chemicals the agency had previously identified for additional assessment. Also, I should start prepping for tacos. It's not Taco Tuesday, though. Sundry clown car, benzonamine. Can the EPA do anything since they overturned Chevron? Good question. They've been hauling crazy stuff on the crumbling rail for years. It's a scam as usual. Studying the safety of these harmful chemicals, all 5 which have been linked to cancer and are used to make plastic, would help lead to critical public health and environmental protections in communities across the country, and would ensure the public has access to more data on these chemicals sooner. The Assistant Administrator for Office of Chemical Safety and Pollution Prevention, Michael Friedoff, said in a statement. Yeah, overloaded trains, too close of schedules, understaffed, yep. Guess we find out how deep the pockets of murder chemical lobby is. Yep. I'm ready today. All right, Monday. Can't think of a name. Not Margarita Monday. Something to do with tacos that starts with an M. I don't know. Vinyl chloride has been tied to liver, brain, and lung cancer, and its presence in the 2023 East Palestine derailment is one of the major reasons residents remain concerned about a possible long-term health hazard, even though no one was killed or injured in the immediate crash. Environmental protection officials have raised concerns about vinyl chloride going back to the 70s, and in recent years, as more municipalities replace lead pipes, new concerns have emerged about potential chemicals leaching from PVC replacements. Nice. Very, very cool. Folks, there's some listeria outbreak recently in several states. Most recently in produce. Be sure to Google it for your specific location. That's a good public service announcement. That's a good public service announcement. Kamala Harris will announce VP pick in the next 6 to 7 days. We got to keep putting more pressure to make sure we can get the most, the best deal out of this VP pick. So far, in my personal opinion, and I think a lot of people I saw on the social medias agree. Tim Walz seems to be at the top in terms of who I would like to see as VP. Kamala Harris will announce her running mate for the U.S. presidential election against Donald Trump and J.D. Vance in the next 6 to 7 days, an influential Democratic campaign co-chair said. Quote, I would imagine we'll know who her running mate is and we'll get ready for the convention, said Gretchen Whitmer, the governor of Michigan, told CBS on Monday, referring to Democrats' national gathering in Chicago next month. Whitmer said she was not under consideration herself. I have communicated with everyone, including the people of Michigan, that I'm going to stay as governor until the end of my term at the end of 2026. Harris is widely reported to have narrowed her field of possible picks to 3, all white men from states expected to play key roles in the November election. On Sunday, a new poll said the Navy pilot and astronaut turned Arizona Senator Mark Kelly was seen as the most favorable by voters. Nah. I agree, he's the best. Boar's head liverwurst. Yes, I think that was on the list. Was it not? Nothing interesting happening in politics anymore. Hey, Hambliss, how's it going? Definitely not. So long as you don't look at the last couple of weeks, then yeah, nothing interesting here. According to ABC News and Ipsos, 22% of respondents saw Kelly in a favorable light, against 12% who did not, giving a net favorability of plus 10. The other two men widely reported to be in the final reckoning are Minnesota Governor Tim Walz and Josh Shapiro, Governor of Pennsylvania. In the ABC Ipsos poll, Walz scored a -1 favorability, Shapiro plus 4. Strikingly, Kelly's favorability rating was a striking 25% better than that of Vance, the Ohio senator whose first steps in support of Trump have been beset by controversy and Democratic attacks, leading to reports of doubts among senior Republicans. I mean, I derive surprise and shock at the new depths of modern politics reaches. Under fire for misogynistic comments, including disparaging leading Democrats as childless cat ladies, and widely known to have said he despised Trump before changing his tune, Vance's favorability rating in the ABC Ipsos poll was -15, a poor score surpassed only by Trump himself at -16. Amazing. Kelly is brought by Exxon and kind of a bully. Yeah, I'm not going to be pleased if that dude ends up being the VP. Lest Kelly supporters get too confident, the ABC Ipsos poll also noted that he and other potential Democratic picks remain unknown to large sections of the American public. Among all possible Democratic nominees for vice president, the Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg plus 4 favorability, and the Governor of California, Gavin Newsom, -12, were the best known to voters. Harris was seen favorably by 43% of voters and unfavorably by 42%. Among possible picks who might help boost that rating, Kelly represents a border state central to the fight over immigration and is married to Gabby Giffords, a former congresswoman who survived the shooting and campaigns for gun control reform. He's a gun rights guy. Yeah. Shapiro governs a Rust Belt state that proved pivotal in 2016 when Trump won it, and in 2020 when it went for Biden. Walz State, Minnesota, has voted for the Democratic Party in every presidential election since 1976. But Trump is targeted this year, trumpeting polling gains before Biden dropped out of the race. Biden, 81, withdrew from his re-election campaign amid polling showing that most Americans thought him too old to be president. Yeah. Wasn't just that, my friends. Don't worry, you only have to vote for JD Vance once. That's true. Kelly's the least likely to draw a socialist label if he's on the ticket. Personally, I think the Democrats should stop caring about that. It doesn't matter. It could be literally like Joe Manchin. They could literally run Joe Manchin and they will call him a socialist. Like Kamala the cop is being called like a radical liberal or whatever. Like, okay. Kamala will play the cop card. Yeah, I definitely expect her to play the cop versus felon dynamic here to the extreme. It'll be the transport guys, Pete Buttigieg. Whitmore told CBS she expected a convention of happy warriors in Chicago. Right, and I want daily ice cream delivery too. What's wrong with daily ice cream delivery? I think it can be feasible. She's not pro-protester, and her husband is the head of some panel on anti-Semitism in the White House. Who, Kamala Harris? That's true, I can get that now. You know what? It's as likely as Democrats not worrying about labels. I'm saying they shouldn't. That's all I'm saying. Not that they will. And she has said anything about what she has said. And has she said anything about what she said to Netanyahu? I have no idea. I did see the cringy post or statement that she said that she put on the social media. But I also see that Netanyahu's government is not happy with the prospect of Kamala as president. So, yeah. Will she still end up backing Israel? Probably. It'll be Pete because they're running against the court, not Trump. It should be Waltz, I agree. Daily free ice cream delivery. Harris advisors are reportedly placing emphasis on potential running mates' ability to take the fight to Vance, who they want to portray as too inexperienced to step up should Trump fail to serve a full term. That's the angle they're gonna go with? Too inexperienced? Not, the whole, fascist thing? The whole Christian nationalist thing? Now, Vance 39 was 39. Vance was a U.S. Marine, a best-selling author, and a venture capitalist before winning a U.S. Senate seat in 2022. On Monday, Mitch Landrieu, a Harris campaign co-chair, called Vance one of the most unprepared people ever to be put up to the vice presidency of the United States. Landrieu told CNN he's never run anything, and he's about to be one heartbeat away from the largest entity in the world, and one that's the most important. Quote, so it's a fair question to ask. How would we know whether you have the capability to run domestic and national security policy for the most powerful country in the world, but you may be called upon to do so on a moment's notice? Kelly 60 was elected in the Senate in 2020. Walt 60, and a former teacher and a National Guard sergeant, was a U.S. congressman for 6 terms from 2006 before being elected governor of Minnesota in 2018. Shapiro, 51, sat in the Pennsylvania State House before becoming state attorney general in 2017 and then governor in 2023. CNN quoted a Harris advisor as saying that the running mate selection process would be informed by Harris's own experience. Now 59, Harris was a former California attorney general and U.S. senator when she was picked by Biden in 2020. Her 4 years as vice president have generated reports of struggle, but also effective display on key campaign issues, particularly threats to abortion rights. Quote, she knows the challenges in this world, of this world, in a way that you have somebody who has a deep amount of resilience, said an unnamed advisor to CNN. A campaign spokesperson, James Singer, told the same network Harris would select a vice president who is qualified and ready to serve the American people, protect their freedoms, and fight for the future. All three men, reportedly under closest consideration, have chosen their words with care. This is not about me, Kelly told reporters, but always when I've had the chance to serve, I think that's very important to do. Waltz said, being mentioned is certainly an honor. I would trust Vice President Harris's judgment, and I would do what is the best interest of the country. Shapiro said that Harris would make decisions when she is ready. I would make that decision when she is ready, and I have all the confidence in the world that she will make that decision along with many others in the best interest of the American people. Waltz would be a dream. I think he's the best pick out of those three. Shapiro, Kelly, Waltz. I would pick Waltz. All right, folks, we got 2 more articles, and that's it. Near 500,000 records in one app, the group behind a massive effort to clean voter rolls. Folks, this is why you need to pay attention and make sure your stuff is up to date. I believe, Heat, you made a mention of this. I'd feel bad for Minnesota for losing him, but they're okay. They'd gain a VP. Theo trying to rise fans to power, and his wife to SCOTUS so he can be the puppet master behind the scenes. I mean, he is an oligarch, so yeah, makes sense to me. Police officers in Texas, senior citizens at a nursing home in Pennsylvania, and people who had registered to vote at a Marine base in California. They are among the thousands of voters whose right to cast a ballot has been needlessly challenged ahead of this November's election by activists, many of whom have been inspired by conspiracy theories seeking to prevent voter fraud. My simple right as a voter is being attacked, said Daniel Moss, a university administrator from Denton County, Texas, whose registration was challenged by one of the activists when he thought he has lived in the county, even though he has lived in the county and voted there for about 2 decades. It's kind of un-American to do that. It is un-American. It is fundamentally anti-democratic. Election officials across the country have been inundated with dubious complaints about inaccurate voter rolls, which have wasted government resources and sapped taxpayer money spent reviewing lists of registered voters that officials say are already carefully maintained. I guess it would be in his job description as an oligarch, yep. One of the main drivers of this fruitless challenge is a conservative Texas-based nonprofit group called True the Vote, an election monitoring organization. Yeah, they're just election deniers. That has long peddled debunked voter fraud theories. The group's founder, Catherine Engelbrecht, has called on followers to help clean voter rolls by using an app called Level 3, which enables users to search voter data and submit voter eligibility challenges to local election offices. Like, that feels like something that shouldn't exist, right? Like, why are you putting all this data and just putting frivolous, I should say, complaints without evidence, and forcing state resources to sort this out? The activists say they're merely trying to help clean voter rolls to prevent fraud, but their challenges have been riddled with errors and at times have included vulnerable groups such as people registered to vote at assisted living facilities and homeless shelters, documents obtained by CNN show. Why are there challenges in the first place? Because conspiracy theories. True the Vote has said that nearly 7,000 people have been using its app, which references voter and postal data to challenge a total of more than 500,000 records. This is absurd. This is absurd. No, there shouldn't even be challenges. Like, you know, it's one thing if you have provable evidence that you feel like there's something wrong with the public data, but like you have to kind of come with receipts, right? It's because when Dems win or when people vote for Dems, it's guaranteed fraud, isn't there? True. It's like the book bans, isn't it? They're just carpet bombing requests for reviews. Right. County and state officials across 9 states, many of them considered battlegrounds, interviewed by CNN, said they meticulously processed for maintaining voter rolls. They also said they cannot simply purge registered voters from the rolls without making efforts to contact them and following other safeguards. Some officials added that portions of the data in the Level 3 app appear outdated, when they, which they say undercuts much of the activist work. These people are actually trying to help, but they did not understand the procedures we have in place, said Matt Weber, the registrar of voters of Yavapai County, Arizona, who explained how the 2 people who said they were working with True the Vote in May and June sought to challenge a list of potentially ineligible voters that the county had already addressed by contacting them and, if warranted, placing them in an active status. Right, like there's already a system in place to do this. Right, they're not trying to help. They're not trying to help at all. That's not the point. In a statement, Engelbrecht of True the Vote said her group seeks to empower citizens to ensure accurate, secure, and fair elections. And you are doing that how? In pursuit of our mission, True the Vote has developed specialized processes, technologies, and methodologies that have been affirmed by experts and courts across the political spectrum. She did not name the experts and courts to which her statement referred to. Another way of putting it is she made it the F up. Some states have recommended local officials disregard or dismiss pleas from private citizens to drop groups of voters from the rolls in a June memo. Yeah, like that's literally what they should do. They're targeting swing states that are trying to affect the election. Correct. That's what they literally should do. Just disregard, unless there's like a serious, concern that you can prove that something's wrong here, then, you know, they can look into it. But like, honestly, especially coming from like this group, they should be just like completely disregarded outright. I can't believe there's even a process for this. I mean, the state has their own process, but they're just abusing the complaints. That's it. That's what they're doing. A June memo from Pennsylvania's Deputy Secretary for Elections and Commissions warned that such challenges can lead to unlawful disenfranchisement. A spokesperson for California Secretary of State told CNN that responding to unvetted voter removal requests distracts from necessary election preparation. The challenges come as a wave of states have passed laws with added voting restrictions since 2020. Other officials have been more receptive. We're open to anyone assisting, said Jeff Roberts, the administrator of elections for Tennessee's Davidson County, home to Nashville. They're not trying to help. Roberts said he had received voter registration challenges from a local resident who separately told CNN he has spent about $1 100 hours compiling lists of voters who appeared ineligible based on data in the Level 3 app. Roberts said he would follow the law and would simply not purge voters from the rolls without giving them the opportunity to respond. About a half a dozen people in Denton County, Texas, outside of Dallas, have submitted what has surpassed 1,000 challenges a day. According to the county election administration, Frank Phillips' records showed that at least some of them use Level 3. Phillips said he has sought to review all their challenges, but added the effort has become a little time-consuming. Register everyone at birth or 18, I guess, or no registration necessary like in my state. Yeah, it should just be automatic. Phillips said most of the challenges involve voters the county has already placed in inactive status or removed from the rolls, where a minority of them warrant follow-up. In those cases, he said the activist challenge speed up the process the county had already has for maintaining its rolls and verifying voters' residence. Some of the challenges submitted by Denton County activists have blatant problems. For example, one woman challenged a few local police officers who lawfully listed their address as a government building, emails show. Amazing. Quote, these people just can't see past their end of their own nose, evidently, said one of the officers, spoke on the condition of anonymity because he lacked the approval to speak to the media. He explained that cops and other officials are sometimes allowed to use alias addresses like county buildings out of concern for their personal safety. They're just throwing everything against the wall to see what will stick, and that undermines their investigation. Well, there's no investigation here. It's Republicans. What do you expect? The same people literally sent 10K ballots to a city of 300 and sent only 60 ballots to a city of 100K people. The 300 city was Republican and the 100K was Democratic. Yeah, makes sense. True the Vote has seemingly encouraged the practice of submitting mass challenges against people who have registered at an unconventional address, even if some voters may have properly registered at those locations. In the effort to save time, I think we got the point. The point being is that these people are making a coordinated effort to disenfranchise people on the basis of conspiracy theories and faux documentaries. And it's quite dangerous. That being said, please, in the next few months, regularly check your information and make sure that everything is good. Because these people are trying these people are trying to disenfranchise you, trying to disenfranchise as many people as possible, and it's a coordinated effort. And it could, if they do it consistently, could potentially swing things one way or another. In fact, the comment I made happened, and that is why Mississippi still has the same governor, because if Big City could have voted, the Dixiecrat could have at least won. All right, folks, we got one more. Biden proposes Supreme Court term limits. I'm ready to vote 27 times in Michigan. From Canada? All right, we're going to run through this one real quick. President Biden on Monday today proposed sweeping changes to the U.S. Supreme Court, including term limits, a binding code of conduct for its 9 justices, but opposition from Republicans in Congress mean the proposals have little chance of enactment. Biden called on Congress to pass binding and enforceable rules that would require the justices to disclose gifts, refrain from public political activity, and recuse themselves from cases in which they or their spouses have financial or other conflicts of interest. He also urged the adoption of an 18-year term limit for justices who currently serve life tenures. I think this is acceptable for Supreme Court justices that are not, since they're not elected. You'll notice the people screaming out voter fraud are the biggest perpetrator of it. Projection. Yep. Biden called for the revamp as well as constitutional amendment to eliminate broad presidential immunity recognized in a July 1st Supreme Court ruling involving the former President Trump in an opinion piece published by the Washington Post. He will speak on the issue in the presidential library of former President Lyndon B. Johnson in Austin, Texas, later on Monday. Today, this nation was founded on a simple yet profound principle: no one is above the law, not the President of the United States, not a justice on the Supreme Court of the United States, no one. Well, let's not get it twisted. Voter fraud is very low, but the governments who suppress voters are abundant. True. Biden last week ended his re-election bid and endorsed Vice President Kamala Harris as the Democratic candidate to face Trump, the Republican nominee. The top congressional Republican House of Representatives Speaker Mike Johnson called Biden's proposal an effort to delegitimize the court. That's kind of rich. The court has already delegitimized itself. Okay? It's the inverse. If we have accountability, or if we have a palpable method of accountability, people will have more trust in the court. Quote, this dangerous gambit of the Biden-Harris administration is dead on arrival in the House. Right. So, as of right now, none of this stands to have a chance, while Republicans have any say in the House. But I actually agree with these proposals. I just wish that this would have came out immediately. Like, this should have came out immediately after Roe, and immediately after the reporting on Clarence Thomas and the other justices came out. I mean, this should have been pushed for years ago. Regardless, I agree that we do need Supreme Court reform, and unfortunately, it's not going to happen while Republicans have a say in it. Folks, it's time for me to go grab some food. Thank you all for stopping by. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you, Zachap. And thank you, Tina, for the raids. I appreciate both of you. Thank you. And for all the new folks that are here, thank you for hanging out. I appreciate it. If you enjoy the content, don't forget to hit the follow button. It really does help us out. Many of you have hit the follow button, and I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for the subscriptions and all that, all the biddies. Join the Discord, folks. Join the Discord. It's the best way to keep up with the channel, okay? Kamikaze, thank you for stopping by. Thank you for stream. Thank you for hanging out. 99 Ziyaduk, thank you. Thank you, Heat. Thank you, Michael Hassler, for modding the chat. I appreciate it. We'll be back tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Thank you all. If you enjoy the content, don't forget to do all the social media stuff. Keep liking the stream, okay? I see you on YouTube. Thank you. Follow here, subscribe, like, share, do all the awesome stuff. You guys are what makes this channel grow. I appreciate it. Thank you, truly. And we'll try to ease back into the normal schedule Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Thank you all. As always, please stay safe. Please take care of each other. I love y'all, and I hope to see you guys in the next one tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern. Thank y'all. See ya.
Shining
Thank you, Amberlynn. I appreciate it. Hang tight, folks. We're heading out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bye-bye.